Okay, I'm going to show you guys how I would slice up a design if my laser bed wasn't large enough. I run three xTool lasers in my studio, the one that I do most of my brim designs, my hat brim designs on. It's going to be my D1 Pro 20. That's the one that I share in the Facebook groups, and then I also have a blog post on how to set that one up. But I also have an xTool F1 and an xTool P2S. So I'm going to show you how I line a design up with my P2S. It does have a camera. Um, I believe the P3 series does have a large enough bed, but if you are working with any other X tool, I think like the M1, S1, maybe even, and then of course my P2. Still, there's two ways to split one of my designs up. And if you're interested in trying this for yourself, I do offer a free design for anyone who's trying to get into this. I have myself burned through so many different designs and hats to get it right. And I just don't want other people to go through that headache. And I've been doing hats now for almost a year. And I feel pretty confident in my designs and where they lay on the hats. So if you are interested in grabbing that free floral hat brim design, there will be a sign up form at the bottom. Just enter in your email address and that file will go ahead and head over to your way. And then you'll be signing up for my newsletter where I do drops on templates and I talk about other laser updates as well as other craft updates. So this particular video will go over the two different ways that I split a design. We're going to do it through Canva right now, and then I'm going to show you in the xTool software. So I'm going to show you through Canva. You can do a blank design. I'm just going to go ahead and use the blank logo setup here. Then from here, I'm going to go to File and Settings, and I'm going to turn on Show Rulers and Guides. You can already see I have that check mark right there. And then I'm going to also do Add Guides, and then I'm going to do Custom, and we're going to do 2 columns and 2 rows, and then we're going to do a 0 gap on those. And I'm going to hit Add Guidelines, and now you can see that I have these 4 quadrants right here. I already have one of my brims uploaded, and it is the free one that you get if you sign up with that form. So let me just go ahead and scroll down. Here it is. It's going to go ahead and drop. Right here, I am going to make it bigger. There we go. And then I'll just make sure it's centered. And see how that kind of, you could see the 2 lines, the 250 on the rulers on either side. So I'm looking up here in this column, this area, and over here. So this is now centered. And what I'm going to do is I am going to crop this in 4 different quadrants. I mean, depending on how big your laser bed is, you know your laser bed's best. I crop mine in 4s because I have to turn my jig to fit my hat, which I'll show you guys here in just a second. So I'm going to go ahead and take it right up. As you can see, that long pink line takes me right there into the center. Here, same thing, section. I'm going to duplicate this page. And then, because it's the same image, I'm just going to drag her right back out to what it was right here. Bring that over, and this is the second quadrant. We're going to now do the third. And then last but not least, here is the fourth. There we go. Okay, and you can you can title them whatever makes sense to you. Top right, top left, um, bottom right, bottom left, I just go ahead and do the quadrants. So I have Q4, I have Q3, I have Q2 and Q1. This one is my floral crown, and I'm going to say it's the quadrants one. And then we're going to go ahead and download this. I'm going to make sure it's a transparent background. I always enlarge the size to 3x of the logo size at least when I'm using it. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit download, and it'll go ahead and download that zip file. I'm going to unzip that zip file. And we're going to go ahead and head over to xTool. And here is what my laser bed looks like with my hat. This is the Willie and Dolly blank hats that I use. If this was in my D1 Pro, it would be 350 by 380, and as you could see, it just barely cuts off the sides. So, and I am using a riser base, slats removed, all that fun stuff on my P2S. So the first thing that I want to do here, obviously, is making sure that my slats are removed and using the refresh background image to get that full image of my hat in here. I want to stay on this layer and object list view for this. We're going to go, which you can access it right here in this panel. It's this last, the one that looks like a bunch of paper stacked. So let's go ahead and upload those images that we did. Folder, and I'm clicking that first quadrant. Here it is, right here. I'm going to go to crop, and I'm going to take it all the way up until that edge and bring this right over. Luckily, there's a slight gap in this design. So getting it perfect isn't the end of the world with this particular one. It's a good practice design. And I'm going to turn it on its side just because the way that my camera, this view right here, this tag back here is the back of the hat that I burn. So I know that the design has to lay this way so that when you're wearing the hat, the bottom part of the design is as towards your neck. So we have, this is the first layer, and I have it as color cyan. Now we gotta go grab the second quadrant. Samesies here. We're gonna go ahead and bring that right up. Bring this over. And right there. Save. And I'm turning her on her side. Okay, and so this one I'm going to change the color to red. Let's grab the last two. Same here. We are going to crop it right there and get it nice and close to those petals and bring this up right there. Save. This one is already in the right spot, and I'm going to change this color by moving it down here. I'm going to change it to purple. And then last but not least, the fourth quadrant. Go ahead and crop her. Right there. Bring this one up a little bit, and then this over. And turning her. And then this we are going to change to orange. So I have all my layers are different colors. This just helps me visualize it. So these are our top two up here. This is our, let me see here, this one goes here. And this one doesn't line up right there. Turn it on its side. There we go. Very good. Okay, so we have our bottoms. So this is where I am going to size this image where I want it. And this is where it gets fun. We just can kind of get it to marry up and match. That one looks not too bad. We go ahead and group those together. I'm holding down the shift button to get those two together there. And then I'm going to bring this over and then this one over as well. This one has to go a little bit bigger. There we go. Okay, so that is the image. Now I'm going to select all my layers, which is Command All on my keyboard. And I'm going to enlarge this and start playing around where I want it. So here we go. I'll move this one up. Okay, so if I was to make this the size that it needs to be to line up perfectly onto this image, and then this one as well. It will, let's see here. So see how it kind of like curves, this is curving in and it's going in on itself. I don't want it to do that. I want to be able to pull this back and pull this one back as well. But if I pull this one all the way back to where like I want it, and this one as well, the design is going to be outside of what I can process, and I'm going to get an error when I go to process it. So let's pretend that we just want to do this particular quadrant. It is all great in view, and then we will play around with these sections later. If I was to like click, I have nothing highlighted, and you can see all four quadrants right here in this modify param. That's obviously not what we want to do. So what you're going to do is you're just going to click on the one that you actually want to engrave. And as you can see, it just shows like the one image instead of multiple images selected. So like watch, if I was to just click into this, see how it says multiple objects selected? It's literally going to engrave all four of those at the same time. And that's not what we want to do. Like I said, we just want that one. So you pick the quadrant that makes sense. This one is in view. This is exactly where I want it. And this is what we are going to do. We're going to go ahead and hit engrave on that particular one. And then this is just going to engrave that one. If this is overwhelming and you don't want to see everything here, you can toggle the different layers off like so. And so you're just focusing on that one to go ahead and engrave. For this particular hat, I do have to move it. So I'm going to have to move the hat closer to me, like drop this area right here off the riser. I'm going to have to move the hat closer to me to get these like the flowers that go up right here in image without it falling over onto this like dead space spot. So that is how you do it in the Canva way. And if you didn't want to do the Canva way, if you had like maybe more of like 80% of your hat already there, we can go ahead and pull up the hat image here. And it on its side, because like I said, this is the back of my hat here. And I can crop it from this view. So let's go ahead and crop it down to this bottom section. Line it up here, down here. So I think I just have to make it just a little bit smaller. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to write down these XY coordinates and the width and the height of this so that when I load in the second half of this hat, so when I burn this down, I know that those are the coordinates to this part of my image. And we're going to go back down to this download section. Go ahead and pull that design one more time. Scale to fit. Turn her on its side. Make it larger. Oopsies. Try to overlap what I got going on there. We're going to crop her. I think it was right about there. Okay. Yeah, not bad. All right. So I wrote down the spot for this. And then my second pass, like if I rotated my hat a little bit more in view, I'd have to do this particular design in at least 3 sections because as you can see, like I don't have the full, my image is going over on this section and that's where I want it to line up. But if I didn't have to do it in 3 sections and just 2, I'd write down these coordinates right here. And I'd make sure that I am, if I go ahead and whichever side I want to do first, you could kind of see that, right? I just click on the one image instead of like clicking out of it. It's obviously showing all of these. That's not what we want. We just want the one. So if I burn this one and I'm good and I can move my hat out just a little bit, I will then put in the width and height because that's going to match the same width and height for each of these sections. And then I can go ahead and play around with the X and Y coordinates to get it to line up just perfectly. But you want to match the width and the height of the design no matter how many times that you slice and dice it, because that's what's going to keep the proportions of your design. So those are the 2 ways. Sorry for the long video, but it is a lot to go over. Those are the 2 different ways that you can slice up a design and get it to fit into a smaller bed.